Hello again, everyone. Hello again, everyone. This is Cazual. I have to say that twice because we haven't been on in a while. And I'd like to renew. This is season 4, the beginning. It's a podcast. It's a video podcast, an audio podcast. It's casual conversations where we talk to people who are very important to our world. And today, our very special guest is Craig Leonard. He's a LinkedIn specialist, a writer, a coach, and a professional development consultant. Oh my God, all those titles. How do you have time to do all that, Craig?
I don't know. I guess I make time of the day. Sometimes
Last
they
time,
run together, so that's how it works.
yeah, they do. So tell me about yourself a little bit. Like, before you got into in LinkedIn, everything. I mean, LinkedIn has been around for what, 20 years or so. So what did you do before that? Like, when you were a little younger, how'd you get into all this?
Sure. Well, I guess coming out of school, I was in a number of different industries, got into different sales and business development roles in the solar data center industries, the truck and logistics, and a couple others. And then on a volunteer basis, I do a lot of writing and editing for a nonprofit board I serve on. So that kind of went into what I'm doing now. So I do a lot of writing, editing, advising for small business owners, salespeople, as well as people in career transition.
Oh yeah, well, everyone needs a lot of help these days with. I mean, the internet is kind of new to certain people at a certain age, but it's been around for 2 generations or 3 generations, so people are used to that. And I kind of like the title. GregThoughts.com is cool. The website we can reach Craig. And but Craig, how did you come up with that title?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was thinking of a name a few years ago, and sometimes I would put Craig Thoughts on posts I would put on LinkedIn, hashtag Craig Thoughts. And I think originally the name came from the character Creed on The Office.
Okay.
His blog was called Creed Thoughts. So my name is Craig, and so it's close. And that's where I got Craig Thoughts from.
Wow. So let's go over not to set up a page, a page, a business page yet, but on LinkedIn. But let's talk about things that you need to have a proper working, LinkedIn site. So you need, number one, you need, let's say, a good photo, for instance, right? Is that important when you have that? Because that's people see you or meet you for the first time. So what do you have to have with that? What's associated with that?
Yeah, so a professional headshot is important. I've seen more and more people use AI tools for that, and that's kind of a novel approach, but becoming more popular as the days go on. But obviously going to a professional headshot photographer, I did that. I went to actually John Agnello in New Jersey, so I use them for different purposes. One on my headshot. If I'm going to be presenting, sometimes I'll use a different photo from that series, and so yeah, that's vital. Having a good headline is important, saying more than I do X at Y company, but talking about your specialties. So if you're a computer programmer, what languages are you proficient in or an expert in? You can have your title as well, but also what sets you apart from any potential competition. So having that there in your headline, it's prime real estate. It's what people see not only on your profile when they get there, but if you post something in the feed, people are going to see 3 things: your headshot, your headline, and then the content. So those are what people are going to see about you.
Well, I mean, everybody's used to like clickbait is one sort of a clickbait for business, I guess, but it's people look at things quickly. They make a decision. For instance, they could see what's behind me. They could see what's behind you, what's not behind you, how you dress, how you look. Is smile important? It's a business to business, so the smile might be too cutesy of a picture, like by dress. Like, how about that? Like what do you think is the attention grabber for business to business? Because LinkedIn's primarily that.
Yeah, I would say generally a smile is helpful. It's it shows you're a warm person. Sometimes a muted smile, maybe, for lack of a better word, but just showing that you're warm. And then how you dress shows your professional side. So having that combination is almost always a winner.
Well, I think dress appropriate maybe for that image or job that you want to get. Don't dress totally like in a suit and serious if it's more of a, a different thing like the theatrical or something else. It's like I think that's important as well. Do you think that's?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say that it shows a little bit of your character. So yeah, if someone's looking to hire a litigator, they want someone who's, well dressed,
right,
suit, tie and everything. If they're looking to hire an artist, maybe, showing a more adventurous side, playful side, something like that, that might be more appropriate for someone in that field, depending.
Wow. Just to remind you all, we're talking to Craig Leonard. He's a LinkedIn expert. And here's some of the things that he does for business: the business development consulting, LinkedIn profile writing and consulting, business events speaking. Gives you either advice, leadership on that, or he does a lot of the stuff on his own from experience. So let's get into business development consulting on that side. Tell me a little bit more about what do you do with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously it depends on person's industry, their goals, what their aims are, what their experiences are. So, if they've had a bad experience with one thing, figure out why, and maybe it's just not the right fit for them. And then, what are they open to? What do they have the means for, as well as, what are they comfortable doing? What are they open to doing? So video is obviously becoming a big thing. We're on video right now, of course.
Of course we are. What do you think?
YouTube.
Are we doing okay so far? How would you judge us if you watch this?
You're doing well. I appreciate it. These are great questions. So actually what's interesting is that obviously everyone knows Google and YouTube, which Google owns. YouTube is now the number 2 search engine in the US and perhaps the world. And so, YouTube is huge. Podcasts are big and very popular. So obviously there's a number of different channels people can do, and it's what A, they're comfortable with, and B, they're willing to pursue, and also that showcases their strengths. So if they're great on video, then video can be an excellent choice. If they're okay at it but can potentially improve, then that's also a possibility as well. And maybe they can go for training, coaching there. And then, but if they're more audio and they're a great interview, then perhaps podcasting is a great avenue for them to pursue. Yeah. So it all depends on what their strengths are, budget, and any other factors. There's the BANT framework: budget, authority, need, and time, and any number of other frameworks.
Too many things. I know you talked about different things in the profile and beginning of this conversation, but like if there's a 2 or 3 things, big advice you want to tell people when they set up the profile, what's the most important thing? If someone's brand new and they just, first time they're going out there, I'm sure if you've done it before, you tried many different things, and, I'll get Craig to help you out. But what are like the 2 or 3 things that when you're doing your initial profile, people should they do number 1 and 2 and 3 years?
Yeah, that's kind of a hard question because it's a little like saying what are the most important pieces of the puzzle. But I would say that having a great headshot, the numbers are clear as far as the people get so many, I don't know, it's 8 times or 10 times more friend requests or connection requests. Having a strong headline, talking about your value, grabbing attention, telling people what you're great at, filling out the experience section. What have you done? What are your accomplishments? What are your achievements? Getting great testimonials, LinkedIn calls them recommendations, and having other people sing your praises because, as they say, if a salesperson says something about themselves, it's bragging. If someone else says it about them, it's true. So that's those are some great areas. There's the highlights section. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but there's any number of important sections that
featured section.
Yes, featured.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean that would include I guess if you were featured in a magazine or in a publication, or over online, a video, I guess, to a presentation you did somewhere. Speaking of the third sort of main thing that you do, that's you're talking about business event speaking. Is it you speaking, or you give people advice on how to properly present themselves at events? Like, what is your area with that?
Right. So I've spoken to chambers. I've spoken at different companies that they have events and they're looking for someone to talk about LinkedIn oftentimes, sometimes business development, networking as well. The event I did, that picture on the website, I was invited by the Boy Scouts, and that was at the chamber in Lyndhurst, the Meadowlands Chamber. Well, thank you for those who set that up for me. I appreciate it. So a lot of times they're business development groups, companies that are always looking to grow their business and have their salespeople and leadership look good on the platform. So those are kind of my bread and butter areas, as well as job groups, groups that help people find new opportunities. So those.
Craig, I like that last one down there. See, it says right there, live web. I like that one. It's my favorite, to appear on live web shows. Yeah. Like this one. But getting back to the prior one, you said, good to have other people kind of talk about you or write about you in your profile section. What's the best way to get that? I mean, do you just go up to them and say, hey, we've done work together. Do you want to write something? Or how do you get someone to actually do that who doesn't think about it or voluntarily do it? What's the best way to do that so they don't think like, oh, yeah, you want a review. Okay, I know what you want, like, how do you get beyond that?
Well, are you talking about a business owner or salesperson, something like that?
Yeah, like someone, a client, and you say, you did a good job for them. They were happy. How do you say, well, can you go and actually say something nice about what I did for you?
Yeah, so generally the best time to ask is after you've delivered something that they wanted, it solves their problem, and they're very happy with you. You say, thank you, Kaz. Would you be open to writing me a recommendation on LinkedIn? Nine times out of 10 or more, they'll say, sure, I'd be happy to do that. So then just make it as easy as possible. Say, okay, I'm going to send you a request. And there's two ways to do that. First, you have to be connected with them. And then you can either go through your own profile or you go to their profile and you click, I forget what the button is, it's towards the top. And then you click request a recommendation. You say, like, let's say I did work for you. So then I click, okay, Kaz was a client of yours. Go through the steps. Say, hey, Kaz, I'd love it if you could write me a recommendation. And oftentimes you can ask someone to do it before you actually ask them on the platform. So let's say, we're speaking now, or we're communicating over text, email, whatever it may be. So then, you say you're going to do it. I go on LinkedIn, I go to your profile, I click request recommendation. I say Kaz was a client of mine, and then I click submit. It goes to you. You send something over. I can either ask for a change, or I can say this looks great. And then
awesome.
I click OK, and then it shows up on my profile as well as yours.
Wow. So we're talking to Craig Leonard, craigthoughts.com. And look at some interesting facts here. LinkedIn's been around for a while. Just read off some of these facts. It's pretty amazing. People can use it.
Yeah, about I think it's 75% of the adult population are on there. As you can see, 214 million people. It's huge all over the world. About 1 billion people total worldwide, and it's only growing. And the reach is still high. So I remember maybe a couple of years ago, Gary Vaynerchuk was talking about the two platforms he would focus on are TikTok and LinkedIn. And LinkedIn's obviously the business platform. It's big, especially for people in business to business, but also business to consumer as well, because the trust factor is so high on there and people trust it more than other platforms.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I trust it. I've I constantly update information what I'm doing. I post videos on there. You can do live videos on there as well. And some other fun facts are, about LinkedIn. It's it's, I guess, has multiple uses. One is the use for, to get yourself out there and about your company, but also it's a good resource to get a job, right? Move yourself in a career. So, but related to that, the one thing I always say is when you want to connect with someone and you don't know them, or you don't have somebody else that, it shows up that you also are friends with so-and-so, there's a little note that pops up. Do you want to add a note to that? So what do you put in there? So they actually read it and feel you're like a friendly partner, and that's some person just trying to get into their world and, connect with them anonymously.
Yeah, that's a tough question sometimes. I would say that, like, let's say someone works at a company you want to work at. Generally, leading with the truth is the best option, and saying, hi, so and so. I saw you work at this company. Interested in learning about it. Don't ask for too much. Just say, very nice. It would be great to connect with you. If you could just start with that, that's generally the best way to go, so that you're not overburdening people and showing up and throwing up, as they say. That's
well, I think sometimes it would be like, well, I went to a recent Somerset County business, meeting, and then I run into this person named Craig, who I know, and he said he knows you. So you have like a different channel. They're like, okay, so he knows him, I know, because they can call you and check.
I just did. So if you have at least that much, that like I know someone who that's generally a much better in than having nothing. Or if that person's willing to introduce you, they know you well enough, they could say, oh, my friend Kaz from Somerset County Business Partnership was looking to connect with you. I hope you guys can connect. And generally, if I know two people, then I'll reach out to both. And, if I think two people are a good connection, I'll say, oh, Kaz, would you be open to meeting my friend who's a architect? Let's say you want to meet with him for whatever reason. Then I go to them and say, can I connect you with this person? So,
Yeah, I see that sometimes people send emails and they're saying, this is like an invite stuff, but I think this is kind of a different world. So let's put you to a test a little bit. Maybe you want to try and set up a business profile. Let's see if we can do that and show people what it actually looks like, who might not have seen it, or maybe things they not see on a screen that should be important for them to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, that's not you. That's not you, Craig.
No, that's not me. He does videos. So click for business, then click create a company page, and then click company. Fill this out. So you'd say, do you want to do conversations with Kaz, or do you want to do casual conversations? Let's just do conversations with Kaz. So you'd see this would be the end of your URL. You put your website here. And then industry would be something like media, broadcast media production, distribution. Generally, I advise, even if you're solopreneur, generally put 2 to 10. Organization type, say privately held. Is that right?
Yes.
And then this is where you add your Square logo. So you put that here. You'd have it saved to your hard drive already, and then click choose file and go through that. Add a tagline, and then click I verify, and then create page.
Okay.
And then what will happen is, once you do this part, the logo should show up here.
Right.
And then add a tagline, click that, click create page. And then if you guys want to see my company page to see what it looks like. Okay, so this is the admin view. And then for everyone who's not an admin of my page, this is what it looks like. So the logo goes here. The banner goes here. You can create something on a canva.com or a site like that. And you see followers. You can go to the website. So you click that to go to the website. This is what I do. So you fill out, there's all these different sections, and it's important to have, at the very least, the basics of what you do, who you serve, and so on and so forth. And then go through as many sections. They'll tell you how you're doing and what you need to do, like add a website,
Mhm.
add the summary, and all the other sections. And then there's a way to invite people. So you go back to view as admin. So only admins can add people. So if I wanted to add people, click invite connections. And let's say if I wanted to invite, let's see. There you are. Can I invite you?
Sure.
All right. So I do that, invite Kaz. There we go. So that's a little quick tour of the company page.
No, that's amazing. So, see, folks, you can see how easy that is. If you need more information or more deep down, as they say, go deep down into the trenches of more LinkedIn, CraigThoughts.com. Contact Craig. He'll be more than happy to help you. Right? You got time for that, right? And so let's go back into also help people expanding recently, you said, into helping people with their careers or writing their profiles or their resumes. Like, what exactly do you help with that situation?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not the resume writer myself. I do partner with people who are specialists in that area, but I do work obviously on the LinkedIn side. I basically help people highlight the best parts of their work and their specialties and everything to help them stand out to any potential recruiters on the platform. And it's recruiters' basically favorite platform. So many people are hired on there every day. And so I basically help people talk about themselves and showcase the best of themselves on their page and attract the attention from potential recruiters and potential employers, as well as show everything from the basics of how to connect with people, how to do company searches. So if I wanted to work at, like, let's say XYZ company, do a company search, how to filter by job title, by connection, by location, any number of factors, and how to properly connect with people, make connections, and create potential opportunities. And I've helped a few people get promotions, get jobs, and take the next step in their career. So part of that is, as I mentioned, connecting with or partnering with resume experts, with career coaches, and any number of people in the career space that can potentially help the people I work with.
Let's say you're looking to move to another part of your career. What's the best advice? You thought you gonna love doing this job, and you're into it, and so realize it's too much work. If it's, let's say, either public relations or like a person who answers phone calls for insurance companies or whatever, which means they're always hearing negative stuff from people, and they say they don't like that job anymore. So, like, what steps would you say they should take, to move on to something else, which they think they like, or they have knowledge, or they have a degree in, and that happens, I'm sure, all the time. You think this is the ideal job until you actually there every day, and you're like, oh man, this sucks. So how do you help them to get out? Like, what do they have to do?
Well, there's any number of paths they could take. Obviously, there's the skill side of it. So if they want to, if they're in that example, they want to go into, what was it, public relations or?
Yeah.
So I guess depending on the type of role, there's any number of skills, strictly on the LinkedIn platform, there's skills tests people can take. Some skills will translate from what they've done or their schooling and any education they've gotten outside of school, whether that be from books, from YouTube videos, from any other platform that does skills and licenses that people can learn outside the classroom. And there's also the connection side of it. There's so there's the skills that translate, and there's the gap between where people are to where they want to be. So to fill that gap, I would say that there's all sorts of obviously free education, whether that's public library, YouTube, and any number of platforms that have sprung up in the past 10, 15 years that allow people to get certain skills, licenses that weren't possible 20, 25 years ago, whatever it may be.
Oh yeah,
that people can use to bridge the gap from where they are to where they want to be.
right. Kind of out of your zone asking this question, but it's kind of related because they got to think about that before they start posting things and experience. I think it all kind of probably all blends together.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if they want to get to where they're working full time at that new career, sometimes what they can do is reach out to people in that space and say, assuming they've done this work that I've, put in time, I've developed these skills, I've learned how to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Is there any type of project you could use help with? And, get some experience, get some work under your belt, and then use that as a springboard to get to where you want to be.
That's a great idea, because LinkedIn would be perfect for that, because people are doing that, and that's the best thing. Because otherwise, you have a friend or whatever. Oh yeah, I love my job. People are great, and that might not be the right fit for you. And you invest time or education, get in there, and then you feel like, oh my God, what did I do? I got to learn something new, So it's. Hey, I have a question for you about logos and things like that. So I'll play the logo that we played in the beginning of Casual Conversations, and then the prior logo. I want you to see, and people watching this to vote which one they like better, but I want to get your opinion. So it's real short. So I'll play the one we just played first. There you go. 1 or 2. What do you like? What do you don't like about either one? What do you think? Which one's a grabber?
Okay. I vote 1. I think what I like about it is, I don't know, it kind of has the feel of a old school New Jersey diner.
Yeah.
I know you're a Jersey guy. I don't know. Was that the intent?
I don't know. I just like the neons and, kind of nostalgic, but kind of new in a sense, and
Yeah, I mean, the second one, it's got the futuristic element, but it could be like anywhere. And I don't know. I just kind of like the feel of the first one. It's like, get some home fries or, a shake or something, and like a midnight trip to the diner.
Yeah, I think it makes you feel a little happy, nostalgic or whatever. Like, it's just funny you mentioned that, like diner, which means hanging out, friends. The first one, the second one, I think is more, a little bit more businessy, more serious, structured, and for conversations, I think it's funny you say diners, because people go to diners to have conversations, business meetings, kind of connects. But so this is season 4, so I think, I play that one for the first time, and I'm going to use that, I think, going into season 4, going forward, of Casual Conversations. And, folks who want to see prior episodes and a playlist, which means you can just binge watch Casual Conversations. We'll put the links below, as well as a link to CraigThoughts.com, some other sites that he's on. And so the final question, which everyone gets asked, and it's really a big question, Craig, for you is, what was it like here being a great guest on Casual Conversations?
It was very nice. You asked excellent questions and challenged me, and no, I appreciate you having me. So no, you do. You're obviously a pro and very natural, and I hope to get to that point.
Thank you very much, Craig. And contact Craig, CraigThoughts.com anytime, and he'll ask you some questions that will help you in your career or in your profile on LinkedIn and many other things. So thanks a lot, Craig, and keep watching this Casual Conversations anytime you want. It's all cool, okay? Thanks a lot, Craig. See you soon.
Thanks, Kaz. I appreciate you having me.
Goodbye.